Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who monitors his teenage son's porn use and in return, the teenage son monitors his, has now discovered the beauty of contouring and base. Like all MAGA alpha men, they all end up wearing makeup. Show the video.
We didn't have the access to all the data and the funding. And so now the game has changed. So we needed to hold the line in what we're doing right now so that when we get to the next fiscal year, FY.
Pumps.
He also looks like he's had some bad filler done. I mean, this is so bad. I'm wondering, we always laugh about it, but is there some secret plant in there doing that on purpose? And how do they not notice that?
Well, I think if you look at the whole lot of them, you have J.D. Vance, failed drag queen, which causes drag queens to celebrate, because being a drag queen, these drag queens are tough. They're smart, they're talented, and J.D. Vance failed at that. And which causes a worldwide celebration among drag queens. And he still cannot get rid of the eyeliner, and he is dangerously close. I mean, a news cycle or two away from a full-blown smoky eye. And here we have Moses Mike Johnson, who spent years at the Pray the Gay Away conversion camps and funding these things. Here he is wearing, it's not even just base, it's a full-blown contour. Next up, we have Alex Jones, who is a complete psychopath who bullied and browbeat parents whose children were shot at school in Connecticut. In the MAGA world, this comes out yesterday, Alex Jones shouts that Trump is a poop addict who guzzles E. coli feces. Now, listen, I know that these MAGA people are weird as shit. They are getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I mean, these guys are off their fucking rockers.
Well, here's the thing. We always hear about Trump pooping in a diaper, how badly Trump smells. Now we're going to he's eating feces. I mean, nothing about Trump would surprise me. I do think he shits his pants. There's too many people that say it. I do think he smells. But the Alex Jones thing, fucking crazy.
The thing for me with this is this is what millions of Americans consume.
Right.
They consume this content. On one hand, Moses Mike is, got covenant eyes and he's monitoring his kids' porn. And then he's taking his daughter to a purity ball and acting like he's marrying her. What a godly man. And then he shows up with horrible makeup on. Alex Jones, that he has millions of people where he completely degrades and bullied and harassed. Huge judgments against him for all of the lies, saying Trump is a poop addict. And who are these fucking freaks that sit at home and watch this shit? Tim Miller over at the Bulwark, he is commenting on something that you and I talk about a lot. And the White House put out this macho alpha male deportation video where they try to act like they're such tough guys. Look at how mean we are. Look at how badass they are. Kylie put up the video. Tim's comment on this is the kind of content you get from a White House whose senior staffers need RoboCop snuff porn to get hard. And I totally agree with him on this. I think there is a bunch of bi-curious, now they're full-blown leaning into the makeup. And I think there's a lot of closeted gays at the helm of this MAGA movement. Certainly a lot of people with really fucked up porn addictions. And I just think this whole alpha male movement, the Manosphere, is to mask sexual shortcomings, or when they watch porn, they might get excited about the man. I don't think there's anything wrong with being bi-curious. I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay, but these people do. And that's why they advocate so much against it.
Well, like we always talk about, the only people that are talking about porn and gay people and all this crap that they talk about are people that are trying to convince themselves they're not doing it, that it's wrong. So I'm going to say it's wrong, even though I do it. And that's exactly what's going on here. Look no further than the NFT cards. Remember those?
Yeah.
It's just
those were totally gay.
Everything they put out is homoerotic. And I think Tim Miller's right.
Okay, next up we have Kenny Booyah. And this is just a tweet that he put out. And he says, Who'd have thunk? They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, or your son will come home a girl would be stronger messages than I'll protect your Social Security and Medicare and will give you $25,000 to get your first home. Who knew so many US voters are this dumb? And I'll tell you who knew. Maga knew.
Mm-hmm.
The people that ran the Trump campaign knew, because look at this graph. This came out over the weekend. And for those of you that are listening, it shows the right wing and big red dots and the blue wing media podcasts, YouTube channels, etc., in blue dots. It's not even close. It's not even remotely close. The right wing media echo chamber is massive. And this is why Trump won. You have sustained, pervasive gaslighting to a bunch of very broken people. And I think the liberals' side is not this large because liberals don't sit and consume hours upon hours upon hours of shit that they hate. That's uniquely MAGA. The MAGA personality type, it started with Fox, which is child's play compared to all of the big red bubbles that I just showed you guys. That is an entree, appetizer, dessert, snacks, 24/7. This becomes their whole identity. Liberals have other things they're interested in. They read books, they watch films, they go travel, they do fun things. If this MAGA, these people that sit around and do this all the time, it is a full-time job to tend to their hatred and their desire for cruelty because something in them is broken. They're either bi-curious, gay curious, have mommy issues, have daddy issues, inferiority complex like Elon Musk has, because he would not be a billionaire without the United States government. He's a con man, and Donald Trump is a con man.
Well, what all of these media outlets have in common is they prey on weak people. They don't lift people up. They beat people down. And for some reason, the people that watch this, broken, whatever they are, they like to feel like they're kicking somebody when they're down. It gives them a jazzed up feeling. Look, no, I mean, Alex Jones, come on, Steve, all these people. And half of those people, not half, but there's a large number of those people that we know are Russian propagandists paid by the Russian government. And nobody seems to care in MAGA.
Well, I mean, no, they don't care. But I want to correct one thing that you said. These people are the weak people. They prey on marginalized people.
You're
marginalized people are actually very strong. There's nobody stronger than out of the closet gay people or drag queens, because they have had to face so much adversity. All of these people in red dots would shit their pants. They don't have near the bravery that the LGBTQ plus community has, and they're constantly under assault. But let's talk about what's going on right now. You have all of this big manosphere and all of these predominantly white men, but a lot of white women that were raised by misogynists go along with all of this hatred and marginalization of people. The Democrats have an opportunity here to respond, and we have 10 Democrats, senators that voted for fascism, that saw Elon Musk do 2 Sig Heils and then voted to fund it. And the data is starting to come out, and we've been shouting this from the jump. Fight hard. This is not a time for decency. This is a time to humiliate MAGA as much as you possibly can. Put up the graph. In April of 2017, 59% wanted bipartisanship. March of 2025, 65% of Democrats want Democrats to stick to their positions, even if this means not getting things done in Washington. And what did the Democrats do? You had a bunch of people in the House who voted with Republicans on Congressman Al Green. You have 10 senators. Chuck Schumer needs to resign. He needs to resign. And what all of these Democrats need to start talking about is impeachment. Every single day, they need to talk about impeachment, because here's the difference. All those red dots and all those blue dots, here's the difference. Gay people will fight for MAGA seniors to keep their Social Security. Gay people fight for everybody. The more and more marginalized you are, the more you fight for everybody's rights. White people only tend to fight for white people's rights and don't give a shit about anybody else until it impacts them. And I'm talking specifically about white MAGA people. And the trans community, the reason why this is an issue is because of all of these red dots that we showed you a couple slides ago. That is where over 95% of all of the trans talk comes from. In the trans community, they're just trying to live through all of the bullying. They're just trying to find a little bit of peace and not be bullied by nuts like Nancy Mace. And think about how depraved Elon Musk is. He has a trans daughter that he openly hates online to his 200 million followers. That is a level of diabolical sociopathy, psychopathy. I'll leave it to the psychiatrist. That should never be normalized. And you have 10 Senate Democrats that voted for these fascist Nazi fuckers. It's unbelievable to me.
I'm so glad that the calls are coming from the Democratic side. They're finally saying, Schumer, you need to step down. I've seen that all weekend. And I hope that, I have no expectation that he will, but I hope they continue with that. We can't just move on from this. We can't just say, okay, that was a blip, but now we're doing this. We've got to stand firm every single day, talk about the appeasement, not only in the Republican Party, but now the Democratic Party too.
Yes. And here's the thing. This isn't about left versus right. This isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about the people who want democracy and those who don't. And those Democrats that voted with Republicans in the House, step aside. Don't cherry pick when you stand up for what's right or wrong. And those 10 senators that voted on with a ticket and an administration that openly embraces Nazism, step aside. This is not your moment. Your final moment was just recorded in history. And it was exactly what you did when you voted for a fascist government. One final thing, and we did a whole episode on this, but Gavin Newsom, the data is in on his podcast where he wants to sit around and talk with Nazis and play patty cake. Put it up. New data on the reaction to Gavin Newsom's new podcast, favorability amongst liberals has declined from 46% to 30%. While some Republicans agreed with his stances, they overwhelmingly viewed him as insincere, calling him fake and pandering. His net favorability dropped from +4 to -6, a 10-point swing in the wrong direction. Only 13% of voters had an improved perception of him, and only 1 in 5 said the podcast made them want to tune in for more. This is exactly what we've been trying to say. Stand for something. Stand for something. Tell the people in rural America that are losing their farms, that are losing their Social Security, that are losing their Medicare. We fight for everyone, and we're not assholes. So we don't like trans people and gay people to be bullied because guess what? A lot of them come from rural families, and you probably know them. The messaging is combined. Fighting for Social Security, fighting for Medicaid, fighting for gay rights, fighting for trans people to be able to live in peace. All of that is linked, and it's not that difficult. I just played all these clips of Moses Mike Johnson wearing a goddamn full face of makeup. Democrats, this is a layup. It is easy. Grow some fangs and start fighting. And Gavin Newsom, I had a crush on 90 days ago. I would vote for a dead pig before I vote with somebody who sits around and plays patty cake with Nazis. If he was doing this with somebody like Mitt Romney, I don't take issue with that. This is a defining moment. This is the moment. You're either with the Nazis, you're with the autocrats, or you're for democracy. And that's just how it's got to be. Don't you think, Pumps?
Absolutely, because you can, as we've always said on this podcast, these MAGA people are never going to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Never.
They're never going to think he has a good idea. So whatever he did with this, whoever idea it was, and if it was his, he just needs to step out of politics. But this was I think, a fatal political error. You cannot do this. You cannot
political
sit around.
Suicide.
Yeah. Agreed.
It is complete political suicide. Nobody likes a pick-me where you try to be friends with everybody and you try to get everybody to like you. And the Democrats, these headlines right themselves. We have a platform here. If you speak vociferously like Tim Walz is, like AOC is, like Jasmine Crockett is, you give us something to promote, we'll promote it all the time. Make fun of Mike Johnson, humiliate him. It's not that hard. This is not the time for decency. This is the time to attack, and stand up for marginalized people and stand up for everybody. Subscribe to our channel. We got to keep going. 1 million subs. We'll see you all later.